I've decided that I'm not doing any more put options. I'm only doing long call options.
I think we've learned about the puts too. My Uber, I sold out and kept $350, by the way.
Okay. Look, it's not to say that there aren't times when a put option is like warranted, right?
Right.
But at the price point, like if you wanted to do a put option on Tesla, that put option is so expensive, you know what I mean, that you're almost better off doing something else with the money if it's not like you have a bunch of money to burn. That is a good idea. Every time we talk about a stock, let's bring up.
We should show it. Yeah.
You're right, Vitaly. Only 12 episodes in.
Yeah, 15 people. 15 viewers.
15 viewers.
Three of them are us, I think.
Yeah, basically.
Me, you, and Phil. So 15 minus 3, back to 12.
JetBlue is now at $10. Okay.
That's pretty good, man. Recently,
one of the moves that I made is I outright purchased the stock. You can see here, I got it at $7.83, purchased 125 shares. That's already up 29%. I'm up $280 on it, right? But this is a long play. This is for a 4 or 5x if it gets back to the stock price that it was, which I think it eventually will. But for now, it's more about just having control of the shares. I did a call option on for May 15th. Their earnings are a week before. And I do believe that before we get into the second wave of this pandemic, after they open up the country again, I do believe we're going to see people traveling. We're going to see the airlines doing well for a little while. And my goal is to ride the wave of some good news during their earnings call. And they also did get approved for some of the government money. So they're right now they're doing okay, and they're only set to do better in the short term. So I picked up 4 contracts of that. This one was 80 cents. The one
basically you have a chance where it'll double even before earnings, I feel.
Exactly.
And hopefully you'll sell those options.
No. What I would do is if anything, that's another reason why I bought more contracts. What I might do is if it does go up and it's sitting at like $15, $20 or something right before the earnings call, I might get rid of 2 contracts just to lock in something for that, leave the other 2. And then as I watched it, I still have a week after the earnings call, I would watch it and I would sell it. But the other long play that I bought outright, and this one you could see the bid was $565. I got it at $570. So for $570, I bought a $3 call option on JetBlue for January 2022. So if this stock goes to $50, I'm going to be able to go in there and make $5K.
That's actually not bad. How'd you get it? I guess you bought it when it was down at $8.
I bought it at the same time that I saw it at $7 because I knew that call option is going to be super cheap.
Yeah, this is what we were doing wrong. I think you're absolutely right. We're not smart enough to short anything, but we're not. I'm sorry, we're not. We're going to talk about Uber and Square. Well, we did bad in that. But I think we're better at saying, the economy is going to return in a couple of years. Just like you're doing here. You're saying by 2022 that JetBlue should be worth more than $5.70. Plus the $3. Let's say $8.70.
It needs to be over $8.70.
I mean, but that's almost now. I know, but even if it doesn't, even if it dips again, honestly, I think that's a no-brainer because all these guys are being bailed out, and it's not like flights will never happen again. That's ridiculous. Someone's taking video of people on the Delta flight. Like 20% of them are wearing masks and the rest aren't. What the hell's wrong with these people? While JetBlue is actually saying everybody has to wear a mask. I don't know if you read that.
I got the email from them about it, like news.
Which is much smarter. It's like, dude, update your shit to the modern times.
I really, really like JetBlue. JetBlue is like the Tesla of airlines.
They are better.
Something very cool about this company. Yeah. You very rarely see them having bad news, but this wasn't a purchase to like because I also bought American Airlines. I also bought.
Right. You're just investing in the sector at this point.
I'm investing in the sector at this point because if you look over the course of, if you look at the course of 5 years, the stock doesn't really move much. So this is more about me saying these airlines were at the center of 9/11 and they rebounded. So this is a crisis that they were not involved in. It wasn't like someone hijacked planes. They were just involved in it, and they're a struggling sector. But like you said, people still need to fly. They're not going to go anywhere. So this is going to go back up. It might take 2 years, but I just want to be in at the very, very bottom and just ride it up for 2 years. So
Well, so it hit a peak of, what does it look like? I can't see. $55? Is that
peak year
55,
was
$60?
almost $60, $58, and that was January of 2018. And then it started to level off, and it was still at about $30.
Well,
So
honestly, let's say half of that. Let's say forget about it returning to full steam ahead, but even if it hits around
it's
25, 30,
$40.
that's a pretty good return. It's
Yeah.
over 3x, somewhere in that
Yeah.
range.
I didn't buy much of American. I just wanted to get some skin in the game. I figured I don't care what the price is. I know it's going to be worth more than
Yeah.
not sell it.
Yeah.
So I went in and I bought that. But my point is, I did the math the other day, and I believe American Airlines stock was at 26 cents about a year or so later after 9/11. If you put $5,000
Right.
at 26 cents, you'd have 3,800 something shares. You'd have something ridiculous. And when it went up to about $50, that's $1.2 million. Now
Isn't
we're
that
not
crazy?
we're not seeing, and that was like within 2 years. Now we're not seeing those prices now. We're not seeing anything close to that, even at the bottom of this thing. But it's not to say that we might not have a recession, in which case a year from now, these stocks go down. But I just want skin in the game. So I went in and I picked them up on my big play.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you look at the history, like look at the last 5 years, basically, let's just talk about investing instead of
5 years
trading.
ago, it was
We're not good
$44.
traders, but
Yeah.
do all. I think it shows a little bit more than that. It shows probably 10 years. So basically, this is almost at the bottom. It's not quite the bottom as in terms of like the last decade or so, or the last 20 years, right? Showing the last
Right.
20 years or so.
But if you look, what we had the market crash of '08, it tanked down. It was down to
But my point being that okay, so you look at this stock, you're like, forget about what's going on in the right now with the pandemic and everything. Just knowing that it's hitting the bottom of where it was before, even like 20 years ago,
right.
that shows you your chance of actually making money has increased tremendously on this, because it's near the bottom of what it was, and most people are looking at this two chart saying, well, it's really not going to go lower than $5. That's what they're saying to themselves.
But anything lower than $5 is bankruptcy, and it's not going to happen.
Right. So I'm saying this is probably going to recover back to the 20s, 30s in the next year, somewhere in that price range, I would think.
I agree with you too. And if you just look at the chart, after '08, it went down. And here we are at a price of 50 something bucks. And there it was again, in '07.
Right.
So
it shows when the recovery happens.
It
Look, it's like boom. It's like fast. You got to be in that wave. So right now you're getting into it, basically.
Exactly. You got to be in here. And then we're looking at '08, and it took till 2015. So it took a good number of years. I do think that this bounce back will be faster. Only
hold on. Look at this. You're looking all the way to the beginning of 2008. Look at the actual when it started. You can't see what I'm pointing at, but 2012, somewhere around there. You see where it passed? It's like there was like a high in 2010, 11. You see that high?
Yeah, there was a high. I mean, a high of $10. It's basically
and then it tanked. As soon as it passed that high, boom, off to the races. Look at like So we could know this too. By the way, if this happens again, we should see, like, for example, if the S&P goes over 2,300, what did it reach at? 23, I believe.
I think so.
I think it's just going to go ballistic.
Yeah, it'll go because that's.
I'm sorry, it's 3,300, 3,400. Yes.
Well, that's the green light. Like, that's the green light to everyone.
Well, that's the green light that it's gonna skyrocket really fast, and you better be on that rocket ship if that's actually going on, and we're not in a recession, and it's just gonna go up and up and up, which I still don't believe it. But if it does happen where it beats our high, dude, it's just going up. It's not gonna care.
We are in an election year. That is almost guaranteed to happen.
29.39. Remember we talked about 3,000?
That's the tricky thing about where we are right now, is like, it feels like we're in this like little divot about to take off. But I really do think whatever happens, once they reopen this country and we see it, there's going to be a nice big boom. As ridiculous as it sounds, you have to sell. You have to sell. Well,
what's going to happen, at least I think, with these airlines is that right now, 0 people are flying. So, well, maybe it's something, but it's very, very small. It's negligible. Right. As soon as they reopen, business is going to continue. Maybe not the same full steam ahead, But even if the numbers come out saying, oh my God, they went from 0 people almost to now 5 million a day, whatever the statistic is, it's gonna skyrocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever that statistic is, because it's gonna go from almost nothing to actually something tangible. And then so the airlines are not screwed. Not to switch topics, but I feel we missed the boat on Tesla.
Well, we missed the boat on Tesla in terms of it being at the 350. But again, to your point about it doesn't matter how many shares you have, it just matters how much money you have. It doesn't matter. Like I put a limit option to get rid of my Tesla at 900. I just want to get rid of it because that's unsustainable, and I want to wait for it to get corrected.
I want it to drop back under 500 or less. Anything under 500 or less. I have already buy orders for 500 or less.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that we're going to see that price if
the economy actually does turn.
Yeah,
I think.
Does. I mean,
I don't think any company can survive a turn, meaning short term wise.
A turn like that? No. Tesla seems to be a company that can see a major bump because people are just surprised. Like if this was GM and they reported profits the first quarter, the stock wouldn't move because you'd say, of course, they're GM. But this company is doing things that people don't expect. And the reason why it's so speculative is because everyone just wants it to fail, but everyone thinks that this is going to fail. This is doomed to fail. This is doomed to fail. And so when it actually has profits, you go, how are they doing this? How are they doing this? But then they go, but that was a one-off. That was a unicorn. People don't want to accept that they were wrong about the company. So they keep investing as if they're right. And that's why you're seeing all these, short squeezes. Even this rally could have been just more of a short squeeze than it was really people buying in. Because who's buying Tesla right now at $700? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I wonder, I'm wondering that myself because I'm actually obviously we're believers in Tesla and I do own shares. Once again, I did not get rid of everything. I have enough shares where today was a very good day for me, except I was very upset.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to buy more.
Yeah.
So, but I believe it tremendously, but how can they possibly be 5x in less than 6 months? They literally went from $200 or 170 to 900. What is that? 6x, 7x?
Yeah.
So I don't believe that. I believe that's a mini bubble. That's what I don't believe. Even if they're making money, yes, I totally see it. I still think they're valued in the $500 range, which that's what makes me so upset that when they were down to that I wasn't accumulating because I was too scared the market was going to go tank even further. But even me and you were going back and forth saying we're going to buy at 500 or 550. We were saying that for like a month straight,
Yeah. Well, I did. I sold out of my, like once they passed 900, I started selling them off. I sold off whatever I had. I had no Tesla, but then I bought back in one of the dips. I think I got it around 700.
Right.
Because I just
but you didn't buy as much as you had.
I didn't buy as much as I had. I like reallocated that money to other places, just waiting for a time to buy back in because at this point I'm investing in these companies with Tesla's money. You know what I mean? It's like money that I made.
Well, so this is the good thing, by the way, what you're bringing up. You actually made money on Tesla. It's not like, so even though we're very angry at Tesla, we both have made money on Tesla, so we should thank Elon Musk. I'm going to send him a tweet.
We've made money. We've made money on Tesla, but I also feel like, Tesla. There'll be other companies like Tesla. So,
and it's end phase, buddy.
I don't know if it's end phase, but I mean there are other companies that are going to come in and disrupt pre-existing markets.
Yeah, but it's like we did so much research. You did. I did a lot of research. But you probably did to do Tesla. It's hard to find companies like Tesla. It's not that easy. Tesla, maybe it might be overvalued right now for this, like, let's say the next couple of quarters. But I have no doubt that Tesla will be over $870, which you're showing right now. I have zero doubt it'll be over $870.
I think what's happening is they'll grow into it. They'll grow into that. They'll grow.
Right. It's going to be a little volatile. But so when they come down again to the 500-600 range,
dude, look at this. I mean,
I'm buying it. By the way,
look at this range.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God, that's
and earnings per share is -$5. But they're showing they're making money and they can make cars and they build factories really fast and so the thing is Tesla, as we discussed before, we're talking probably preaching to the choir, whoever watches us, is they're a technology company. They are not just a car company. Everyone keeps talking about them like they're Ford.
No, you bring up a good point. I was reading an article about them, about why, the arguments for and against Tesla. And what they're saying is people are confounded by Tesla's stock performance because they're seeing it as a car company, and the market is starting to price in that they're much more AI and as self-driving AI, and more like an Uber business model that they're going to eat into the Uber Lyft business model. So what they're seeing is that Tesla's got a couple of bullets in the gun, and they haven't really shown their cards yet. They haven't really
the solar, the batteries.
They have not fired on all cylinders yet. And when they do, essentially it's one company that is almost an umbrella company for 5 completely separate, different, independent companies just under one name. It's like Apple. Apple's a computer company. It's also a television studio. It's also a music store. So there's just multiple streams of revenue, and that company is kind of protected in that sense. But they're still getting there. They're still getting.
Well, so that's the thing. I think right now what's being priced in, almost like they're, like, let's say 6 months away from that. You know what I mean? And they're not. They're many years away from a lot of stuff that you just mentioned, like the autonomy or making their solar business much bigger, which I think gives us an opportunity to buy it a little bit lower than $870. I could be totally wrong, but that's why I still own some shares.
I think so too. I would love for the stock to split. I'd love for them to just split it. If they split it and it was, 400, you go all in. You just throw everything in there and wait. That's one of the things that I think helped Apple.
Well, I think you're not talking about, even though the percentage is the same, meaning like, the amount of shares out there, but you're just saying mentally it's easier for you to buy a $200 stock than it is to buy a $900 stock. That's what you're just trying to get at.
There's 2 reasons why I think. Number one, because it's easier to, when you're selling, if you want to cut profits, you have to sell a share, so you're selling bigger and bigger chunks. The other part of it is I want to do call options, and they're much cheaper if the stock's at 400.
It's too pricey for me to wrap my head around it. I'd rather just buy, honestly, Tesla shares and hope for, Elon Musk to take over the world.
Look at this stock, man. I got it at $8, man.
You actually bought shares though, right?
Yeah. My mistake was not buying a call option. I think it's still low enough. If it does like a little dip, I might buy a call option on it, even for what it is, because I do think they're going to do well.
Well, remember, this is, okay, so we got to go back to the S&P. This might still be the bull trap. Listen, it could get better, but I don't know. I still don't believe it. I don't believe it this second.
I don't think so. I don't think there's anyone who thinks that we're going to reopen the country when we're not even.
Well, even if you reopen it and people and slowly progresses forward, that's already an optimistic view I think the stock market's going to take. But if there's any hiccups along that road, like Q2, Microsoft says, "Oh, we did get hit our cloud infrastructure," because right now they're just making. If you saw today, Google made a ton more money, and everybody thought they were going to get harder in the first quarter, and they didn't. So Facebook is up tremendously. It's almost at its peak. It's like $20 away from its peak.
I sold it this morning.
All of it? You don't keep anything of it?
No, it depends.
Only if you believe in it, of course.
It depends on what the stock is. Like for FUV, for example, I bought FUV. And we should talk. We want to bring up FUV because we can bring up FUV.
Whoever's watching this does not know FUV. I told Carlos when it was $1.70, and I've been watching the stock.
There it is.
Just one day, like after I like a couple of days after I told you about this at $1.70, it just decided to go on a run. It just decided to go straight up.
This was me right here. I got in right here.
Yeah.
424, $1.70. Boom. Then
I was buying on the way up.
Yeah, I still have it, but what I did was I just put in a limit order to ensure that I cash out my initial investment when it doubles.
There's actually a name for that, by the way. It's the old granny strategy, where anytime you buy something and it doubles, just get rid of half of it, and the rest is the house's money.
Yeah.
So you're doing the right thing, and I wish I was much more disciplined in that. I tried to do that with Tesla, actually. That's why I was selling when it went from 250 to 500. I was trying to sell. No, I didn't sell half. I was selling 10 shares at a time.
Yeah.
And I bought a bunch.
Yeah.
So I was selling a little bit at a time on the way up. but I should have just like one sale when it doubled and then don't worry about it at all.
Yeah.
And instead
Well,
of
you know
monitoring
what?
it, now I have to monitor it every 3 seconds.
That's the thing. It's the monitoring of it. But for me, it was also, I don't know where that peak's going to be. And that's one of the reasons I got rid of Facebook. I'm just like, Facebook could go up to $400, but I got them at $35. So it's like, I've already made
Right.
the majority of the money I'm going to make on Facebook. Let me take that money out and put it to work somewhere else. You know, that's what the week was.
Well,
I
I
also
agree with you
picked up,
there. I do like that strategy of buying the shares and also doing a much cheaper call option for the future. I don't like the put thing because then I'm betting against the way the world should work. Do you know what I mean?